Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced on Friday that Eritrean troops will withdraw from Ethiopia's Tigray region. 3 days earlier, the 2019 Nobel Peace Laureate recognized for the first time the presence of Eritrean soldiers in this region of northern Ethiopia, where the government launched a military operation against separatist forces last November. Officially, fighting ceased on November 28th, but in Tigray, residents tell a different story. This man lost his 15-year-old son.
The war is escalating. Now it is focused on civilians. Our young girls are being raped. 15-year-olds are being raped.
This hospital has partially reopened after 3/4 of it was destroyed. But more people needing help arrive every day.
They are all civilians, and we are constantly receiving patients who are injured. So if somebody says, I don't care whoever he is, if somebody says there is no war in Tigray, that would be a joke for me.
Ethiopia's Human Rights Commission said on Wednesday that Eritrean soldiers had massacred more than 100 civilians in the conflict. A giant container ship is stuck in the Suez Canal, forcing the world's maritime traffic to slow down. The MV Ever Given wedged diagonally across the canal in a sandstorm on Tuesday. Egypt had to suspend navigation along this crucial trade axis between Europe and Asia until authorities are able to refloat the 400-metre-long hulk. The operation could take weeks. Dozens of ships have been stranded, and a delay in oil deliveries briefly caused crude prices to jump on Wednesday. Vessels seeking an alternative route must now pass via the Cape of Good Hope, which adds 6,000 kilometres, roughly a week's navigation time, onto their journey as they circumnavigate the African continent. To Tanzania now, where thousands lined up to bid farewell to late President John Magufuli. The government announced his death on the 17th of March, with the given cause of death a long-running heart condition. But the opposition claim he died from COVID-19, a disease whose seriousness the president had downplayed. The announcement of his passing came after he disappeared from public life for almost 3 weeks. Emotional mourners paid their last respects as his body lay in a stadium in Dar es Salaam. Emergency service members took care of a number of people who passed out. Few wore face masks. And a woman and 4 children died in a stampede as mourners rushed over the weekend. After a state funeral on Monday, Magufuli was buried in his hometown of Chato on Friday. 77 years old, 36 in power. And Congo's President Denis Sassou Nguesso has been re-elected for another term.
It is a feeling of honor because the people have just honored me. I thank the people.
The veteran leader won with a landslide of almost 89% of votes in Sunday's election. In another dramatic turn, his main rival, Guy Brice Parfait Colelas, died of COVID-19 on election day aboard a medical plane to Paris. A day before, his campaign had released a video that he filmed from his sickbed ahead of an internet blackout.
My dear compatriots, I am in difficulty. I am fighting against death. But even so, I ask you to stand up. Go ahead and vote for change. I won't have fought for nothing. You must fight.
His death leaves the opposition considerably weakened, whilst Sassou Nguesso has consolidated his power base. Critics denounced the early voting by soldiers, which they claim is a source of potential fraud. The Catholic Church was unable to deploy observers. One of the world's longest-serving rulers, Sassou Nguesso, has long been accused by critics of authoritarian rule and turning a blind eye to corruption, poverty and inequality, despite the country's oil wealth. His most pressing issue now is to diminish the Congo's dependence on black gold.
We want it like this, it must be quiet.
Night patrols and armed response teams are guarding an unlikely treasure. Avocado theft is on the rise in South Africa's northern Limpopo province. Security companies like this one are in high demand. This team of more than 150 guards now patrol around 20 farms in the Tsanin area per night.
When they saw us, they switch off the lights.
Avos is green gold. They call it green gold. It's something that sells very easy on the black market. And the farmers are running a very big loss with the theft on their farms.
Local agricultural organizations estimate that thousands of tons have been stolen over the past 5 years, amounting to around $1.5 million of lost income. The family-run Alisbester farm outside Tsanin spends around $100,000 on security a year, but has still suffered losses. Not only has theft increased, but also the organized nature of the crime.
In the past, it generally tended to be a situation where people would come in, steal the fruit and sell it next to the road. Nowadays, it's getting washed, packed into proper boxes, shipped with proper transport into proper markets and organized markets even.
Most of the stolen produce is first-grade fruit meant for export, mainly to Europe, where it can sell for up to $12 per kilo.
Because we know when they come one day, they come. And you'll cry when 2 tons are gone.
Despite this, provincial police say these crimes are rarely reported. This farmer believes heavier sentences would act as a better deterrent.
If that penalty can be hard to people who are taking things unconditionally, then we'll be safe. But as long as the penalty it's light, everybody will come to you and do whatever you want to do. So that it must come from the government.
Like with so many other crimes, it's not just the farm's bottom line that is affected.
The more fruit we need to pack, the more capacity we need at the pack house, the more people we need to employ. And in that way, having a risk such as avocado fruit theft directly affects these people in terms of their employment.
The economic impact of COVID-19 forced many farms to scale down on security, leaving them more vulnerable than ever. As the avocado picking season starts, farmers know the raids are coming.